Hey guys, so this weekend there is a Children's Hospital benefit pop-up book show. I think it's at a huge mall. Anyways, this is stuff from last time, just a couple months ago, where it was at the mall, and it's huge. It's basically like if a major library had its stocks worth for sale. What else do I need to say? Yeah, this will be interesting for a lot of people. But if you're local, this might also help you decide if you want to check it out this weekend. I thought maybe it'll kill two birds or get two birds stoned at once. A lot of great deals here because these are some nice books. A lot of them were only like $1 or two, or even like 50 cents, 75 cents. These are nice books. I think I just quickly did the math, and this was like $37.25 or something when all is said and done. It's also huge because, like I said, it's like taking up the entire interior halls of the mall, and they're like very wide here. I'd say even like one wing would just be like all art books and stuff like that. Say if there's like, I don't know, 10 different sections or something of your mall and whatnot. Yeah. Quickly, TLDR, if you're thinking about going, it is worth it. But this box will show you why. Some good stuff. Scoop. Okay, first I'll start with like the graphic novels section because I know that's what a lot of people are following for the comic halls and stuff. So I found this trade paper. There actually wasn't a lot. There was only like about, what would it be equivalent to? Like maybe two long boxes of trade paperbacks and stuff. A lot of them, especially for younger people. But I did find this Space Riders, Alexis, Ziritt, and somebody Rangel Jr. Sorry, I'm gonna like fly through this. I'm gonna try $4 for this, and it's a pretty new shape. You know, this is pretty sweet, pretty cool. Excellent. Your ship awaits, Captain. My fucking hat just hit this camera. Sorry. He sees the ship, that big skull-shaped ship. Mi amor. There's a lot of personality in this book. Yeah. We'll keep it moving, though. This baboon guy. You got this. Ah! Nice. Can we get the autofocus going? Yeah, I'm just gonna show a bit because it's pretty nice, man. I can't wait to read this. I still haven't, though. A lot to read on the reading list, but really nice creative art. Kind of outsidery. What would you call it? Kind of naive, but not that naive. I'm stoked to find this. Stray Bullets, Volume 1, David Lapham. How much was this? $5. I'm probably going to read this, like, tonight. We were talking about previously Olivier Ledroit. He is the artist behind Requiem Vampire Knight. This looks like an early hardcover, I guess, that he did. Froideval and Ledroit, Chroniques de la Lune Noire, Chronicles of the Black Moon. That's about the extent of my French, but I was kind of like humming and hawing on this, but when are you ever gonna see it again? And I do have my French-English books. I'll just try to keep them close to the reading chair, I think, because actually I've done that before where okay, $5 for this, where you keep that like with you, and then you can actually like learn pretty good. I still remember a lot of words and phrases and stuff from the last time I did that. Yeah, some demons here. This looks like younger in his art. Like it looks a little more like childish. I thought maybe this is something for children, but there's like nudity and violence and stuff in here. But yeah, I'm a big fan of his work. I didn't even know about this before. Yeah, you got some demons and demons making love to a human, I guess there. Dragon. Looks like some just kind of, what would you call it? Fantasy anyway, but I was gonna say textbook, but I don't think anything Ledroit would do would be textbook. Okay, so moving on to non-graphic novel stuff now. Hopefully you guys can stick around, because some good stuff. Let's go to art books next. Oh, my bad. This is kind of like a comic. Bill Griffith is Zippy the Pinhead. I think it was like kind of an influence for even for the Ramones Pinhead, right? How much was this? $1. That's an easy decision. So this was in the humor section of the mall, and again, there's probably like 10 long tables of humor, all different kinds, you know, like one table had like kind of comic books, or comic humor books, you know, where you'd find like The Far Side or Doonesbury and bullshit like that, but there was even like a Ralph Steadman book there. Maybe I should have got that, but kind of just trying to control myself, so did get this Zippy. I guess these are like dailies. Were these in... Was it like a San Francisco, or maybe weeklies? Was it like a San Francisco newspaper? I kind of forget. Sorry about that, guys. You're always going to get like one wrong fact here. Oh, when I talk, I do make mistakes talking for a long period of time. Just consider me like as if I'm Astro Boy making one mistake on the report that you can pay attention and play at home. Yeah. Okay, art books. Chef d'oeuvre de l'art. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't even try to talk French. Here's Bacchus, right? This is the older Bacchus. Well, anyways, that's the painting, but this is a Caravaggio art book. $1. We recently covered that Caravaggio by Noire book too. But so this is the artist. You can see this Bacchus is like after, you know, it's kind of the bad side of Bacchus, kind of hung over. And he's looking all like pale and sickly. And the fruits are like kind of like maybe not that ripe and stuff. Caravaggio, pretty creative Renaissance artist. I have just a few pages flagged to look at, maybe notably here. This is earlier though, earlier Bacchus. A little nicer. The you know, before things get ugly, baby. Detail. Yeah, these are, I love these kind of art picture books. It's nice to have like a good art book section in your home library, I reckon. Things maybe to look at later. This is David and Goliath, I believe. I think when he was, if memory serves me, when he was trying to get back in good graces from the church and not be banned from Rome anymore, this is like his self-portrait of his own decapitated head, kind of like a way of asking for forgiveness, maybe, or having fun with that. Okay, moving on. Marie Cassatt, Oils and Pastels. She was the love interest of Degas, was it? Or Degas, however you say that name. But that's all I knew about her before seeing this book. $2 for this. Again, there was like just tons of tables of art books like this. You kind of had your pick of the litter. Like it would be, you would want to buy like a whole table's worth, but you just gotta kind of control yourself. Let's look at some of these, some pleasant pastel works. It's not just all gore and tits on this channel. Once in a while we'll have some wholesome kind of nice stuff. That's so cute. Just kind of really pleasant, her art. Lydia in a loge wearing a pearl necklace. The lighting that she's able to create, like these just glow, kind of like that seems to be a quality of Degas too, or Degas, however you'd want to say it. And this kind of like, would this be like two light sources? The shade at the kind of middle of the figure facing us. But it just has like this glowing, really nice quality. Just so damn cute. This is nice. Mother about to wash her sleepy child, 1880. Oil on canvas. I love these art books too where there isn't too much text. Like I can... I'm not trying to read like how much needs to be said really, but I like when there's a piece of art on like every second page at least, you know. Okay, what's this? Business reply mail. Watson Guptill Publications. We hope that you have enjoyed this book and that it will occupy a proud place in your library. We will be most grateful if you will fill out and mail this card to us. Your comments? How did this book come to your attention? Bought at? Was it a gift? Your business or profession? Would you care to receive a catalog of our new publications? You know what, man? I would love a free catalog, but it's probably a little late now. Continuing. Like I said, even there were like several long tables of just art and instructional books. Like boxes of them. So, it's pretty awesome. Here's a drawing on the right side of the brain. $1.75. This is kind of a classic that was like rocking the art world when it first came out. Was this in like the 80s or early 90s or something? They had a later edition that had more stuff added, but I went for this older one. I don't know, I just kind of liked the aesthetic of it more. I actually was in like an art instruction class at one time, and they kind of took us all in if we were like pretty good at stuff, but they did have us do some lessons, I found out, that came from here. And it felt like we had like fucking done steroids and shit. Like our skills amped up so much. There were some tricks here, like drawing a picture upside down, or like this exercise of what is it, Stravinsky, Pablo Picasso, drawing of Stravinsky, if I remember. But anyway, you would draw it like with your right hand, with your left hand, upside down, fast, slow, with your left hand upside down, and you'd see the differences that taking your conscious mind out of the equation would loosen you up and like allow your drawing skills to kind of like let go of the logical mind, like telling you, oh, a nose should be there, an eye should be there, and you're just kind of like actually drawing what's there. Or maybe the expressionistic would come out as well. But yeah, just like I said, this book, I think for a lot of people apparently, it just made it feel like you had fucking like really upped your game. So I'm thinking I'll try to look at this again, or again for the first time. See what happens. I was drawing on the right side of the brain. Yeah, like just boxes of figure drawing and stuff. I just kind of try to flip through them as if I'm Johnny Five, just like input, just to try and decide which ones to take home. $1.50, drawing the head and figure by Jack Hamm. We'll flip through here. I got a bunch flagged. I flagged this a long time ago, but I love these like classical illustration books, right? Experimenting with a flattened pencil, the eye, step by step. Pointers in drawing the eye. This is the kind of thing, the kind of drawing instruction book I like also, where you're not just getting like somebody's sketchbook and then unrelated notes or paragraphs. All the drawings are related to the notes in art instruction. So that's one thing that helps me discern like well, I definitely prefer that kind of art instruction book. The eye wheel, portraying the female mouth. Rather do that through touch, you know. The laugh and the triangle. Male noses, female noses, nose construction. Simplifying the ear in 6 steps, drawing the ear, the natural fall of hair. Suggested simplification of hair. This looks good. It surely do. That do look good. Drawing like different colors of hair in black and white there. With different thicknesses of line. Or frequency of line. Ways of drawing dark hair. Ways of drawing light hair. Drawing men's hair, step by step. I should just take this to the barbers, man. They always try to give you whatever's like a trendy haircut. I just want 1940s, man. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. Anyways, digressing. The kite. Different ways of composing the face. Foreshortening the head from the side. I'm just flipping through, like, I love this too, where it's just like 2 pages on a subject, And then you're getting to another one, just like deep diving into different things. The planes of the male head, helpful pointers in the male profile, adding age to a face. Proportions of the human figure. This is some shit I'll never remember. I just have like a mental block or something keeping me from this. Maybe I'll get it. I like this. Building on the double triangle. I like when... This can be a pretty good trick. And you're kind of like the width of the hips or the buttocks are like right there. These two triangles. Shoulders to hips for women. That works pretty damn good, man. Tell you what. The principle of the T. Step at a time sketching. Using the abbreviated bone forms. Hips and pelvis. Surface anatomy of the bone forms. Planes and solidity. Simplifying so you can like block in your color. Kind of like help with shading and defining and creating a 3D shape. Lines of direction. Sweep and action. That's some good shit. They get that contrapposto going. Explaining and drawing necks. Chicken necks? What to remember in drawing shoulders. Types of neck and shoulder lines. And shoulder and neck in relation to each other. Shoulder shape. Learning more about the shoulder blade area. Jeez. Making the shoulders look light. Explaining the shoulder's appearance. This looks good. I mean, maybe I got hornswoggled or swindled, but I don't think so on this one. I think this was a good pick. Drawing the hidden figure Jack Hamm. This is kind of a classic for comic artists, Dynamic Anatomy by Burne Hogarth. Are there two schools? It's like Hogarth or Loomis or something like that, or Hogarth or Bridgman or something. I forget. Something like that, right? But this is almost, I remember, I think there's one book and it's almost like Kirby-like for the way you're kind of just making things 3D. $5 for this. But I mean, I don't know, I just like need this. I remember looking at this as a kid and being like, whoa, yeah. Drawing like Kirby hands and stuff is kind of the style of this Burne Hogarth, but getting pretty deep into it, not just all blocks and shapes and stuff. Getting pretty heavy. Holy crap. Yeah. I accidentally breathed on the camera when I was emoting there. This is something I should probably study when you're getting into like all these Latin word terms for all these different muscles and stuff. I mean, it's probably grueling to get through, but probably once you've got it, you've got it. Like I would kind of mentally, I'm trying to think like mimetically that or nomadically that maybe it's something like, you know, when you paused, I don't know, maybe I'm showing my age, but when you'd pause a VHS to learn how to draw like a cartoon character, like Ren and Stimpy or something for me, or The Simpsons, that you'd kind of like, you're like, oh, the first couple times you're like, oh man, there's a, you know, you're learning, but maybe after you've got it, you can kind of like keep always drawing them from memory and in different poses and stuff. This to a more involved extent. The throat. Yeah, so maybe that's the way I'm going to look at it. I think I need to study like anatomy better and stuff like that, because it's, I don't know, you can only fake it so far, right? Again, the Latin terms for all these different muscle groups and their relation to each other. I have a lot of this flagged. I think I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah, Burne Hogarth, some classic. I guess this is drawing with charcoal though, right? Just fast, speedy. The arm. I'll get through this pretty quickly here though. Some classic looks. The hand. Whole chapter on the hand. What are the tricks? Oh my gosh. Look at all the tendons and muscles and stuff. I'm gonna skip this one. I don't need to know all that. I just kind of like this principle where you got like the base and then you kind of got the palm and then like the fingers and you kind of like work with that. I think that's kind of like the best, easiest kind of comic booky way to do it. You know, kind of get that, then you get like that wave or line or whatever to follow. Just divide it in 4, and then add the thumb. The calves and the leg. The feet. Look at all these tendons and muscles and stuff, man. 25, 22. Different itemized points of articulation and stuff, or points of interest. Burne Hogarth, classic. Dynamic anatomy. Oh man, I thought I got more, but I think I was just trying to keep it like, you know, you need to kind of fight your like hoarder instinct or something, or like overwhelming yourself, and therefore like that becoming a form of procrastination is like just being swamped with things rather than keeping it simple and fast. How to Use the Figure in Painting and Illustration by Henry C. Pitz. Not Harry Pitz. Henry C. Pitz. Sorry, guys. Just be talking, you know. How to Use the Figure. Starts with like some classical and historical art. Christmas in an Aid Station by Edward Reap. Yeah, some interesting figure art in here. A lot I haven't seen before. Man and Boy, Hokusai, Japan. Brush drawing. The Dream by Albrecht Dürer. An engraving. And some fundamental stuff that we always want to skip from the Lee J. Ames books, but apparently if this is like one of the things to be an illustrator, you want to just have like sketchbooks full of these. You can be doing like 100 figure gesture drawings like a week. And once you do that and learn your anatomy or enough that you can just like build on any kind of pose, and like say even animators, right? They had to learn how to do all that. Basic figure. Man with a cane there. Again, the neck. This is so crazy to like learn all, like just been faking that shit for so long. Maybe I should get one of these, but I always found that these are like not flexible. Like they can't pose very good, but I guess they're just more for lighting. Is why people have these, right? And like perspective and stuff. Foreshortening of like feet and shit that you might not think about. They say it's good to have these. I think I'm just gonna like skip having this boring figure and just use action figures though. Superposable G.I. Joes and shit, or NECA or whatever. Okay. So that was the art books. Like I said, there's a gosh darn ton over there. So yeah, next section. They have a huge poetry section there, which is a nice place to linger and lurk about, to be in the vicinity of fetching young ladies and look like a sensitive person, sensitive and thoughtful. But I just picked out this book by an army guy that was executed in the 1800s. Breaker Morant. I'm sure that you've seen the movie. If not, it's one of the greatest war movies ever. I got this for my friend because he's aka DJ Morant, named after this movie. Pro Hart's Breaker Morant. So this is illustrated by Pro Hart. $2. I'll just read it from here quickly a little bit. Breaker Morant's verse helps us to understand the enigma of a man who was to die at the hands of a British firing squad during the Boer War. This special selection of his poems by Don Ross has been graphically illustrated by Pro Hart, an artist who has gained worldwide fame for his ability to capture the feeling of the Australian outback. Breaker was a man of the bush, and his poetry has the feeling of having been written on by flickering firelight. He captures the bushman of reality rather than of legend. His first contribution appeared in the Bulletin in 1891, and the uncomplicated verse became a favorite with readers at a time when a characteristically Australian verse style was beginning to emerge. Don Ross, the compiler, wrote, "I believe that a man who carried poetry in his saddlebags broke in horses," hence the name Breaker, because he was good at breaking in wild horses, apparently. "Broke in horses and died in front of a firing squad with the words, 'Shoot straight, you bastards,' deserves a second look. I believe that his verse and prose paintings give this to us. The combination of Breaker Morant's poems and the uniquely Australian paintings form a book which will give constant pleasure and satisfaction." I almost want to like read that final poem that he wrote on the night before his execution in the morning here, but you probably heard it. You can watch the movie and see that poem in the what's it called? You know, where it's like overlaid on the narration or whatever when it's being marched up. Okay, next section. Oh yeah, before I forget, anybody who's, say if you're looking for like vintage stuff too, holy crap, or like one guy in the chat group was like, hey, if you find any like Degrassi or Sweet Valley High books there, look for it. But I'm like, man, I'd have to look through all the young people's section, and like I said, man, there'd be like 20 like long tables of that stuff just like lined up on its spines like this. So I'm not looking through all that shit. There's so much stuff there. Or there's vintage sci-fi and fantasy novels there, you know, with the nice printings from the 60s. Or like, say, Crack, I know if you're watching this, you like the detective novels, right? They have vintage like Detective Mickey Spillane, Chandler, I forget who's the other guys. I'm drawing a blank right now. But yeah, just all stuff like that. Even like early ass printings from back in the day. All very, very like, I think this is probably the best book sale I've ever been to, maybe, because the prices and quality is excellent. And actually I ended up working coincidentally for their archives and just destroying so many books by the ton that are like not up to quality of like pretty funny. It's horrible, man. Okay, but anyways, this is from the music section or music instruction. Like there'd be like a music history section even, but like the music instructions say there'll be like a short box or whatever, you know, like a big cardboard sized box of just like flute instruction, or you know, there'll be several boxes of piano, a whole box of mandolin or banjo, and like holy crap, man. Or especially old sheet music can be pretty cool, of like old folk music, or I particularly always look for the weird kind of dirty like limericks and verses and shit of like yesteryear or like old ass times. But $2 for flute playing, an elementary method. Recently found a nice quality flute at a thrift store that was closing down, so they had it on sale for like dirt cheap. So you know, flute is always good. I can play some strings, so flute and strings can be quite nice. I like this because it's kind of old. And what did it have here? Position. When practicing, always stand if at all possible. Stand erect and expand the chest. Keep the right elbow higher than the left. The left elbow should not be too close to the body. The position should be free and comfortable. Stand before a mirror when practicing in order to correct any faulty position. I'm not going to do any of this. Avoid any contortion of the face. A normal condition is to be desired. The cheeks should not be puffed out. This is a very common fault and one which adds nothing to the ease of playing. These are like the intro pages. The player who puffs out his cheeks loses the muscular control of his lips, and his articulation will become impaired. Do not lift the fingers too. I just like this kind of like old-fashioned strict like taskmaster kind of instruction. It's funny to me. Or it's like keeps things like amusing, you know. It's kind of engaging. Rudiments of music, yada yada. Yeah, it's always like kind of look at the exercises in music to like what seems to be a good progression level, and also interesting music to keep you engaged to play. I think that's one thing to look at. Okay, A Tune a Day for Flute by C. Paul Herfuth and Hugh M. Stewart. Book one, $1 for that. Recently was given a mandolin for Christmas by my niece. I can fake it a little bit. I can play some like Battle of Evermore and Ooh La La, The Faces, and like a couple other things, but maybe I gotta get better. Fun with the mandolin, Mel Bay, $1. Do I have this flagged? The left hand. Practice holding the mandolin in this manner. Keep the palm of the hand away from the neck of the instrument. Yo. It's weird how it's like kind of opposite of a guitar though. It's I feel like I should get like a left-handed one and just play it right-handed. Then it would be like kind of the same chords. You know? Because it's like upside down. It's fucked up. Okay. Mandolin Method, 50 cents. I love these. I love old books in nice shape, man. 1959. There's even stuff from like the 1800s there in nice shape too. You gotta love that stuff, man. Okay, lastly, the gaming section. Diablo 2 book. How much was this? $1. Field and Stream Bow Hunting Handbook. It's nice to have these handbooks. Here in Canada, we have like pretty big backyards, a lot of properties, so keep yourself occupied. Maybe get yourself some targets, bow and arrow, and some brews. That's kind of the setup I've been cultivating the past couple of years. So, you know, try to be an autodidact. I could try to go to I have some archery stuff, right? But I was thinking maybe I should just join a club or a range and then just meet some nerdy archery girls there. But they probably have everybody trying to hit on them. I should just stay an outsider, just drink brews and keep doing it in the backyard alone. Yeah. Anyway, digressing. But if you're wondering about that that book sale, like I said, man, I mean, I think there's something for everybody. The biggest problem I had was like just trying to control myself, especially it falling on the same weekend, the day before the comic convention. So something to consider. But if you're wondering, that place rules, man. It's awesome. It is awesome. Probably my favorite book sale ever. So Lord help me that it falls on the day before a good comic convention this weekend too. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. More to come. More comic and book calls and stuff. And happy hunting out there. Hope you find good stuff too. Peace.